Okay, so I've got a short one for you.
Okay.
So in this dream, I was looking at a computer and I was applying, I believe I was looking for a job. So, and for context, during that time, I was actually looking for work. But in the dream, I was looking at a computer, but I could also see on the other side of the computer, I could like see what was going on. And there was a lady and two men, and they were creating a job position and getting ready to post it. And the lady was sitting at the computer and the two guys were in the background, and she was asking, like, what do you guys think we should put as a salary? And one of the guys said, well, how about 80,000? And the lady was like, oh, that's not enough. That's not enough. And so she bumped it up to like 400,000 or something like that, somewhere around 400,000. And then she decided, she went back down to 100,000. And that's what they landed on, was 100,000. So this position was to be an assistant to the president of the United States, I believe for his social media. And then, so I saw them post, the salary or post the position. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to apply for that. And then just really quickly, it went from it being a position for the president to it being an assistant to Pastor Robert Morris, to be an assistant to him and do his like social media posts. And that's about it.
Cool. So do you work in the social media space?
No, I don't. I actually don't like love being on social media. I use social media, but I wouldn't say it's I don't feel called to social media or anything like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the cool parts of the dream, specifically, there's several key components. One is the job and the title, social media. Two is the two guys you're working for, the president of the United States, and then Robert Morris. Oh, he's the head of what, Gateway Church?
Yeah.
I used to go to Gateway in Dallas. And then three, of course, the four, of course, is $80,000. That's real specific. So I'm going to address the two guys. First of all, the president of the United States represents a governmental calling, like an advisor or an assistant to somebody high-level government. Robert Morris, of course, is in the religious sector or in the church sector. So it's the difference between a king and a priest. So a president would be a king, a pastor would be a priest. And so it's being called and adept at working in both, but initially feeling like you're going to work for a top level government position, and maybe the place that you start or the place that you end up is initially starting in the church, but starting for somebody that has a great deal of influence, in his local area in the church and things like that. But either way, it represents a high level leadership anointing, but it's different between a governmental anointing and a faith church anointing.
Okay.
So, Neil, what do you got?
I had a different, it's more like a skill that you have, a gift that you have, the seer gift, because you were able to see through the computer into the chamber of where these people were building the posting for the job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could hear everything they were saying.
Yeah.
As if you were there.
And I do resonate with that too, with the seer gift. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the king of Aram and Elisha. The king of Aram said, "Who the heck is the treason or the traitor in my camp? Because the Israelites know exactly what I'm doing before I do it, just like you did." And so that to me is a kind of a significant personal gift of this. What it's highlighting in this, I would just pursue it and just try to develop it. But you obviously have it. I mean, that's a cool gift to have. It's that strong. And
I got a phone call and now I can't hear. It kind of cut me off for a second and now I can't hear you guys.
Can you hear us now?
Vanessa asked if I sing. I love to worship, but I'm not a singer.
John, you mentioned the 80,000, the significance of that, but you never expounded on that. Or maybe I just didn't hear it. Would you want to?
No, I didn't expound on it. I just said these were the 4 key
I'm
parts.
not able to hear you guys, just so you know. I'm sorry. I don't know what
Okay.
happened.
You can-
It like kicked me off.
You'll be able to rewatch it when we're done with it. You can rewind it and hear it on your own.
I don't know if you can hear us now that you're not in, but what we're going to do is we're going to record this part and then and then you can hear it later. So the idea of social media being social media for somebody else is, the idea of being a voice. And some people said that, Vanessa mentioned that with singing. Jennifer mentioned that with being a voice. But it's the idea of, like, imagine imagine being the person that ran Trump's Twitter account. Like, what a job that would be. I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, the 80,000, we didn't go there. Do you got anything for 80,000, Neil?
No, I didn't. I was just curious what you had to say because I didn't. So
Yeah.
well, there was
Well,
actually
represents the idea of new beginnings. 8 does, the number 8.
There were 3 salaries. It was 80,000. That was the initial. Then the lady said, "No, that's not high enough." And she said 400,000. He was like, "That's a good number." But then she bumped it down to 100,000 for the actual position that they posted. So it was 20,000 more than what they started at, but 300,000 less than the highest.
Yeah. 80 pay mouth voice in Hebrew. That's interesting. And like Cody says, yeah, 80 is a new beginning.
Well, that's 100,000.
What I hear is the part in Psalms again. Oh, that's interesting. 400,000 is the president's salary. So 80,000, of course, is 1/5 of that, or 20%, which is Joseph stored up 20% in the walls of the city. But I also think of in Psalms, and we've talked about this before, the idea of the 10,000-fold return, the 10,000-fold increase. So if you have 8 representing new beginnings, and I believe the pay is indicative of the prestige of the position. So 80,000 represents a 10,000-fold increase in the voice that God is giving you and using that voice on behalf of others.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Anything else you get?
No, not offhand.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for sharing that with us,
Yeah.
Moriah.
Thanks, Moriah.